the way that the section is basically bifurcated, because Chris and I are the same level, we share. And theoretically, he's got half, I got half. It doesn't really shake out to that, but that doesn't matter. I have DWP, I have report, I have the majority of the housing stuff that we do, and I have the PLA.
Okay.
Well, PLA is plural, but all four entities I just named all have a PLA. So that's why I have those. Chris has anything non-PLA that falls under, that's likely was awarded either by this board or other council control city departments. He also has anything federal that was awarded again by council control departments. He has the other.
Okay.
And he also has some of the other responsibilities because, again, as a labor compliance officer, he's the guy that's going to make sure that the labor code and all of the things dealing with prevailing wage and apprenticeship utilization, we're doing what we need to do and we're enforcing those policies and laws and whatnot when necessary. So that's his role for sure. And then dealing with investigations and whatnot, he's got that too. So I am aware of anything that happens in those entities that involve me, but I default to him when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I see.
Tell me they work with him. So I do what I absolutely can to not get involved in this stuff. I do not want to. If I'm getting involved in this stuff, it either means he's off, which now means I'm in charge of everything, or there's a problem. And I don't like the latter. I do not like it because it starts coloring lines with different colors that people aren't used to. Hey, why is this line brown? It's supposed to be red. It's because we're using multiple colors so people don't get confused. And I don't like it. So because of that, with the Lawa thing, I'll listen. I'll give him what my thoughts are, but ultimately, him and Leonard are having a conversation.
Right.
I'm not going to get involved in that. So, yeah.
Because I guess, well, sorry to interrupt, but for me, the main thing was like, you know, I just don't want to be moved over there to like Lawa.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm part of like me coming in with like, all right, I'm here where we're at. You know, it works for me and stuff like that.
All good.
So, like I know, like I guess he says that people, and I get your point. You know, like people who work there, I guess, have their option. They just drive there and stay there.
Are you nuts? Oh my God.
No worries.
Can't stand having to do this. Hey, who's driving? All right. I wanted him to look at an email, but if he's driving, he can't. So I okay. If he's if you guys aren't gone yet, then don't worry about that. When you see Chris asking, it's he talked to me. Just when you see Chris asking, he talked to me. Right. All right, fine. What?
Everything good?
No. Services or bulky items, and they're trying to see if prevailing wage is required. Jan responded, and I'm not. I think you would be able to look at what Danny Chin said to determine. You don't need to read all the emails. So, all right, thank you. Yep. All right, so you get a call from him, and he's a new contractor, and he's never worked on a city project before. He's a subcontractor on, and he wants to know about the provisions of prevailing wage. You've been here 2 weeks. What's your response? You tell me.
I would have to say get back to you, or either that or directly to the supervisor.
Okay. So either response is fine, but you tell me what to get back to me is better response. Reason being, whether people realize it or not, when you not so much getting into your supervisor, that's I'm not even talking about. But let's say you know that the information is readily available on the state's website. Would you direct him to the state's website to read about prevailing wage? Exactly. Because we don't want to get into kissing, kissing back. No, but you're not doing it. Whether or not that's your intention, that's the way you're looking at it. Okay. Don't ever forget So if you get a question that you don't know, hey, let me get back to you. Take that all critical information, and now you ask somebody who knows. And then once you one, you learn to go follow these tactics. At the same time, not everybody's happy. Because if you send somebody off some other place, you have them read whatever, who knows how they're going to interpret it. Then they come back and they do really wrong things in the exam. Well, they're going to say, well, on such and such day, I called you and he told me to go over here and read this thing. That's going to look very bad on us. And for no other reason than the perception of us is going to be bad. So we don't want that. So, and that goes for external people and internal people. It's even worse internal because city family, we all work together. We've got to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to support each other. But can't always do it. We'll be short.
And answer questions.
Absolutely. You know, and if we don't know, let me find out exactly. This is good number, okay? What's your email? However it is that it's coming through, I will get back to you.
So let them know that you're actually
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how you said that you get a text? You should check if you're if you don't get it. You should.
Yeah.
How does that dynamic work? Do you like do like supposed to ask questions to the text, or you still ask questions?
So it depends on what the text work that one of us is overseeing the last hours. When it comes to general questions about the section, such as, but not limited to, I want to take vacation, it's both of us. It also includes Jan, who's a senior May, and we're getting some more senior Mays in the section, including two. But at minimum, it's me and us. And we don't supervisor shop, as they say in PD. So he tells you no, you don't come in. There are some, I want to say exceptions to that, but I don't want to say that's an absolute. But generally, whatever he says or whatever I say is not supposed to be overruled, unless there's some information that has been brought to the attention that wasn't present during the initial ask. Right in there. So Chris is going to be the one that's going to approve your time, unless Jan does. I don't know who you're under from a working perspective.
That's the other thing. My work is
That'll change. So
I'm unable to go like all day.
you ain't gonna lose the look. That'll happen. But that's a software issue. Your vacation time was never an issue. How are you, sir? Say again? I feel like it. You know what it is? They're working on a couple projects. So the dollar value of standalone collectively is going to be low for this type of thing, but we do it for the business. Because if it's on the list, there's a caveat that basically says, one, you can't have the PLA like the contract and all of the subs that were bid lists agree to.
I see. Oh, okay.
That don't work that way because potentially the PLA may change either the bid or the pool of contractors willing to bid, and that's not that gets ugly and political. So we don't do that. That's happened maybe 3 times ever. And the last time it happened, here for this board, it's been over 12 years. It's been a long time. Oh, yeah. he's a senior city attorney. I was a commissioner. Public Works. How that is.
What does board get to board?
This is the Board of Public Works.
Oh, yeah, so this one.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So maybe I misunderstood your question. I thought you they have a history with Public Works in terms of the bureaus. So yeah.
But they are.
This board is really good. No board is attacked years. But the mayor shall
Good morning to our attendees who are joining us here in the board hearing room, and welcome. Welcome, city staff. If there are any members of the public who wish to offer commentary on any of our agendized items, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room, indicate which item you'd like to speak on, and hand it to me. I'll record your information for the record and call upon you when we reach your item. Good morning to our attendees who are joining us on the virtual platform. If you would like to offer public comment or commentary on any of our agendized items, please raise your hand. I will call upon you, and if you would kindly indicate which item you'd like to speak on, I will record your information for the record and call upon you when we reach your item. And I do see a couple of hands raised. Good morning, Audit LA.
Good morning, TJ. I would like, excuse me, general public comment and 1 to 6, 11, and minutes, assuming I have time.
Very well. I have you down for general public comment as well as multiple agenda item commentary.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. And I will move next to Yvonne. Good morning, Yvonne.
Good morning. I'd like to speak on general comment and also, I believe, number 4 and I think it's number 3. I kind of read that packet was long and I kept getting lost in it.
Very well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. I have you down for public comment, items 3 and 4. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. Good morning, Gigi.
Good morning, TJ. I would like public comment, and I would also like to speak on minutes 3 and 11, please.
Very well. Thank you, Gigi. I have you down for public comment and multiple item agenda commentary. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute. Lower your hand. And next, I will move to Jill. Good morning, Jill. How are you?
Hi, just public comment, general.
Thank you, Jill. I have you down for public comment. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. If there are any other members of the public who have not already done so, and you wish to offer public comment or commentary on any of our agenda items, please raise your hand. I will ask you to unmute, and you can indicate which item you'd like to speak on. I'll record your information for the record and call upon you when we reach your item. The time is 9:55. We should get started with the board meeting in approximately 5 minutes. Thank you.
Bring that up. Be like, why is her name on my report? That's our assistant director. That's what we met on Monday. It's not really. You would have to download something, and their instructions. They wouldn't set up. Oh, that's separate. You just have to essentially set the remote work line. It's easy. Something like that. Okay, it's separate. You do that. When you're not. You have a second. What's your? You have a first Friday?
I have first Friday.
You can come on your second Friday, but on that first week is Wednesday and another day. So
Okay, well, okay.
yeah, it's 2 days a week, regardless of when you're already on class.
Okay, so probably Wednesday, Thursday. And then I have to go on Friday.
Yep. That's the big deal. And that's not something that we put it down on paper stone. It's not paper stone. Hey, you will show up this day. Why? You need to change. You send an email. Hey, I'm making a change. It's not. When I say something big deal, it's not a deal at all.
And those emails that you sent, like that you sent it to me, and
Me and Chris and James. Anything operational that involves you from the standpoint of coming to work, sick, requesting vacation or other type of time off, us. We'll respond accordingly. Once one responds, it's done. What you don't have to do is, like, let's say we have a field trip scheduled for staff. You went to school, okay. Let's say you have something going. You're not going. You don't have to send us an email saying, I'm not going to learn ahead and I need to. So, if you're not coming to work, I care about that. You're going to be.
President Kang, we are now in record mode and ready to begin.
All right, everybody, we're going to get started. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Wednesday, September 17, 2025. Mr. Knight, please take roll and establish quorum.
Thank you, President Kang. Good morning, President Kang. Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas are present. We do have a quorum. We are joined this morning by City Attorney Representative Virginia Choi. I'm TJ Knight, Assistant Executive Officer. President Kang, we have 4 public commenters on the virtual platform, 2 multiple agenda item commenters on the virtual platform. We have no one who's indicated they wish to offer public comment in the room, and we have no neighborhood council commentary this morning.
Thank you very much. We will get started with general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items and will be provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. We do not have any in-person speaker cards. We will transition over to a virtual platform.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll go ahead and get started with general public comment, and we will start with Audit LA. If you would kindly unmute, and you'll have 60 seconds to offer your public comment.
Good morning. Yes, I want to keep reiterating the issues about the permits. I would like to see the revocable permit revoked immediately and put on the agenda, please. But I'm also concerned about the Halloween event. It was a disaster last year. I can't fully explain that maze and this thing that this group of children and adults in the dark and no real supervision. It was creepy and it should never happen again. But also because the people who are working these events, remember, they make $47 per week and they are working in excess of 100 hours per week. It is illegal. I find it immoral as well, but there are exceptions, I guess, but not on our public streets. And I want to stand for our work, for the workers, for the Scientology workers who, they should be paid full wage like any other person working events or on the street. And so I'm asking you to do what's right by them. Thank you.
That's 60 seconds, and we'll move next to Yvonne.
Thank you. I would also like the revocable permit revoked. Scientology is just thumbing their nose at you and the city by violating their obligation to keep the sidewalk clear by putting a planter out 3-4 inches, planters out into the sidewalk in front of their cafe. That's just an example that the neighborhood has to deal with on a daily basis. When it comes to permits, you can just look at last week where the BSS special events could not coordinate with the traffic people or building safety in order to get the site approved appropriately according to the current standards and procedures. If there is a fatal accident there, the city will be liable because the city issued a permit.
Thank you, Yvonne. And that's 60 seconds, and we'll move next to Gigi.
Yes, and hopefully I get my multiple too, because you said 2 people wanted to do multiple. There's 3 people that want multiple. But what I want to talk about those planters. Get rid of those planters that are on the public sidewalk. I don't know the exact measurements, but like Yvonne stated, there's like 3 of them that are not in their cafe area fully. They're on the public sidewalk. Scientology wanted to mess with me over some porta potties that we had permission from LAPD to have there on the public easement. So how come they're allowed in that same road, that same street? How are they allowed to have something on the public sidewalk? Please make them move them onto their property. This is another example of stuff that they're doing. Do something, please. That should be an easy one. Just tell them to move it like 3-4 inches back. Also, treat them like everyone else. Make them pay their fees. Make them apply in the right amount of time for these permits. Don't give them special treatment.
Thank you, Gigi. That's 60 seconds, and we'll move next to Jill.
I'm going to reiterate what everybody said before me. You have to revoke the permits. Every revocable permit needs to be revoked. They do not go by safety standards that normal people do. You have to revoke the Halloween permit. They don't even have any kind of first aid or care if someone gets hurt, especially that children are there. They really don't care. I don't care that there's a hospital near there. There needs to be some sort of safety measures. They have to abide by the rules of the land, and they do not follow the laws of the land. And you need to send an auditor, someone out there to audit them and see what they're doing. Why don't you just go out yourselves today and look around at the planters? It would be a nice thing for you to have a field trip on L. Ron Hubbard Way to see what we're really talking about. Bye.
Thank you, Jill. And although that, President Kang, although that concludes public commentary for those members of the virtual platform who have already indicated that they wish to offer public comment, I do have two new attendees who've joined and raised their hand. If you'd like, I can check with them to see if they wish.
Yes, please.
And starting with Lara FM.
Hi, good morning, board. Good morning, everybody. I would also like to add and continue to re-emphasize the fact that the Scientology has, what's the proper word, not upheld their end of the permit over 20 years now, 20 plus years. It's a revocable permit, and we're asking you to revoke the permit. Pick up those bricks, put it back to normal asphalt street, let there be parking meters for the city to make money, and charge Scientology for their violation of their permit, that was the word, violation of our permit for not paying the insurance. They've been supposed to be paying insurance. Please revoke Scientology's revocable permit and put it back to North Berendo Street, away from L. Ron Hubbard Way, back to North Berendo Street. Thank you.
And Georgina McPhee, I see that your hand is raised. Would you like to offer public commentary this morning? Georgina?
Sorry. Yes, please. Thank you.
Go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
I was recently on Fountain Avenue, and the damage that was caused by those huge aggregate-filled planters that did never even have arable soil in it, so they were never meant to be planters. They were meant to be a barricade. When they've let the water run for 48 hours straight in the middle of a drought against all civil codes, they created such great cracks in that sidewalk that it is not passable via wheelchair, and it needs to be brought up to code and made ADA compliant. And Scientology needs to be charged for that. That street needs to be accessible for the neighborhood to use. Right now, it's not. It's constantly being closed by events. It needs to be opened up for parking. The revocable permit needs to be removed. They need to have meters put in on that street, recoup the money that it's going to cost to make the repairs. And
thank you, Georgina. That's 60
thank
seconds. President King, that concludes public commentary this morning.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close the general public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with the multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment period for up to a minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item, and please identify the items that you will speak on when you are called. We don't have any in-person speakers, so we will transition to our virtual platform.
Thank you, President Kang. For multiple agenda item commentary, we'll start with Audit LA, and please indicate which item you're speaking on.
I'm going to speak on minutes 1, 3, I think it's 1, 3, 6, and 11.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Let me start with 11, the sidewalk and amenities. I love the fact, I would love to have amenities for our sidewalks, and I know we're going to have, number 6, we're going to have transit, structures and amenities, I guess, for, helping people to navigate the city. but I just want to remind you that this city is so extremely hard to navigate that before we get to amenities, I just want to get to basic sidewalks. Yesterday, I went you went to lunch from City Hall to, I forget what the place is called, but coming back, we took a different way and I could not pass the sidewalk. I had to go out into the bike lane for the whole entire city block and to get back to City Hall for meetings, for afternoon meetings. And it shouldn't be that way. You know, I should be able to, I don't want to be in bike lanes. I want to be on the sidewalk and I cannot in so many areas. I mean, I'm grateful now for bike lanes, don't get me wrong, because prior I would have to ride in the street and try to go around parked cars and hope that people don't run into me, you know. So that part is getting better, but the sidewalks need to improve. Even with Fountain, another sidewalk, you know, Mr. Gina said because of the water damage and all this, these barricades that they were so heavy that it literally destroyed the sidewalks. I used to be able to ride that sidewalk. There were some cracks, of course, but nothing. Now I can't even pass it at all. I can't even risk going down there. And so, and the switch happened after they did the water and the planters, like almost you saw a progressive getting worse and worse and worse to now where it's impassable. So before we get to amenities, let's get to basic being able to get through. And when it comes to trees, the number 3, I believe, there's a lot of issues going with trees. They're trying to pass a law now to reduce the amount of trees and shrubbery, which is ridiculous. We need a bigger, a larger amount of trees, because it gets really hot here. We just got through a massive heat wave. I think we're still in the tail end of this heat wave, and it is brutal. So we need a larger canopy, and yes, they need to be well watered. And you need to plant new trees, though, that are not going to dig up the sidewalk in 30 years. I think that's the problem with the sidewalk. A lot of it, besides earthquake damage, is tree trunk damage, and that makes it very hard to pass. Minutes. When it comes to minutes, again, I'm just going to keep reiterating. There's been a history of progression of what people have spoken about. And it's not just, myself and others on these
Thank you.
issues of
That's 3 minutes.
Scientology and their permits and their, thank you.
And we'll move next to Yvonne.
Thank you. I'm going to speak on 11. I think it's number 4 and 3.
So you'll have up to 2 minutes for those 2 items. Go ahead.
Okay, number 11. The amenities are poorly designed, if they are the ones that I recall being shown, in that they are going to have individualized seatings on essentially round little pylons in the effort to thwart anybody from sleeping on benches, I would presume. That kind of seating is not usable for someone who has difficulty getting up without having a back or arm to help lift themselves up off of a seated position. Please give consideration to not only the fully disabled, but the partially disabled. The financial assessment, I guess that's number 5, and strategic planning for Bureau of Street Services. I welcome them to be challenged. Sunset Boulevard was closed by no parking signs that probably weren't included in the permit. They were put up on Thursday. They had no indication of the date or the permit number or the issuing agency. Scientology stole the parking meter fees and the access to parking from the neighborhood. Some of those apartments on Catalina are not owned by Scientologists, and people like to have family members and guests over on the weekends, and Scientology is making their lives heck. You're not collecting the right fees from Scientology. They don't pay taxes. At least they can do is pay the fees. Number one, the contracts were interesting to read, particularly in the standard labor rates. People are averaging about $40 an hour, and we are dealing with reporting to you that Scientologists are working on our streets for $40 a week. That needs to be corrected immediately. Also, I'm concerned that the current situation with tariffs is not reflected in the potential cost of material to enact any of the contracts as being bid out. There should be a column where current standard prices are, and if something has to come from China, it's got to be multiplied by 1.5, or 2.5 actually. And if it's coming from some other country with a lesser tariff rate, then that rate needs to be reflected in the
Thank you.
bids.
Thank you, Yvonne. That's 3 minutes. And we'll move next to Gigi.
Okay, so I'm going to speak on minutes 3 and 11.
Go ahead.
Okay, so for 11, like Audit was saying, forget about the amenities, just worry about the basics. Fountain really sucks. The north side, the north side of Fountain between L. Ron Hubbard and Catalina, she cannot travel at all in the wheelchair, but people that are walking have trouble and trip themselves on that sidewalk. So I don't know who's responsible. I don't know if because they have their business or whatever right there, they have to take care of the sidewalk and they're just ignoring that to try to prevent people like Audit LA from being around. But whoever's in charge of it, someone needs to do something about Fountain. And it's ridiculous, like she said, on the way back to City Hall, she had to go into the road. That's not safe. Y'all need to look into that. Number 3, about the trees. So I'm all for planting more trees. I just hope that these trees are treated good. I've seen trees on L. Ron Hubbard Way that are wrapped so tight in lights that they're actually like scarring it. You can see the marks from it. It's stopping trees from growing like they're supposed to. I've seen a tree right there on Fountain that had bees in it, and there was cement being poured into it. You know, and that's not how you treat trees. Trees are living. You know, they might not be like us, they might not be like animals, but still they're living. We got to respect them more. So if these trees are going to be, you know, treated ethically, then yes, I'm all for planting more trees. On the minutes, I know it's just a small part of the minutes, but just on a human level, can't you guys look at how, you know, the stakeholders, the residents, the communities, the public are speaking? Can't you respect them and give them more than just public comment has been received? When people have been calling in for over a year to practically every single meeting and all that's written down is public comments been received, that's like a slap in the face. You know, not to mention that it should be for historical context recorded in the minutes. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, Gigi. President King, that concludes the attendees who have already indicated that they wish to offer multiple agenda item commentary. However, we do have an additional hand raised. If you'd like, I can ask if Laura.
Yes, please.
Very well. Thank you, President King. Laura FM, would you like to offer multiple agenda item commentary this morning?
Yes, please. I just want, just on the minutes, and again, just to add as well to the sidewalks on Fountain, I just want to talk about the minutes again, being able to reflect. I know that to you guys, it may not seem like a big issue, but for people trying to take it down and expose $1 billion manipulative criminal cult organization, we need to be able to put on the record that we have called in and talked to you guys personally and let the board know that Scientology is using every tool and every aspect with the city that they can, including these fake permits and not fixing sidewalks and putting planters on their streets, etc. When we call in about that, we want to have that on some documentation. It's going to look bad for the Public Works Department, the board, if we're sitting here asking and begging you, please reflect this on the minutes, because it's then showing where you guys are not really doing your job. It's not, it seems like a small issue, but it's not. It's documenting that work has been done by civilians and by the board.
Thank you.
to-
That's 60 seconds for your commentary on the minutes. President King, that concludes multiple agenda item commentary this morning.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close multiple item public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with the approval of minutes for Wednesday, September 10, 2025. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So moved. Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Very well. We will go ahead and we'll take a roll call vote on approval of minutes, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and the minutes are approved unanimous.
Thank you very much. Moving forward to our agenda items, number 1 for opening of our bids. This one will be for Lonnie, Koreatown.
Thank you, President King, and I'm joined this morning by Board Secretariat member Matthew Castellanos, and we will open and read the bids into the record for item number 1. Yeah. And the first bid this morning is from HZS Engineering Incorporated, DBA HZS Construction, for a total bid amount of $477,700. $477,700. The second bid for item 1 this morning is from Axiom Group, and their total bid amount is $401,739.20. $401,739.20. The third bid for item 1 is from Oppenheimer National. Oppenheimer National's total bid amount is $403,438.20. $403,438.20. And the next bid is from Geronimo Concrete Incorporated. Geronimo Concrete Incorporated's total bid amount is $285,322 and no cents. $285,322. And that concludes the bid opening for bid number 1.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. I would like to move forward with the acceptance of our bids this morning for item number 1. Is there a second? Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well. Thank you, President King. We'll go ahead and move forward with a roll call vote of approval of bids for item number 1, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes. And item number 1 is received, open, and declared forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2, once again, opening of our bids for the Reseda Boulevard Alley Green Streets.
And thank you, President King. Once again, I'm joined by Matthew Castellanos. And our first bid is on item 2 is from Axiom Group. Axiom Group's total bid amount is $3,277,568.47. $3,277,568.47. Our second bid for item 1, bid number 2 is from Access Pacific Incorporated. Access Pacific Incorporated's total bid amount is $3,961,000 and no cents. $3,961,000. And our next bid for the second bid opening this morning is from PALP Incorporated, DBA XL Paving. And their total bid amount is $6,889,872. $6,889,872. And our next bid opening for this item is from Geronimo Concrete Incorporated. Geronimo Concrete Incorporated's total bid amount is $2,282,115. 2,282,115 and no cents. And the final bid opening for this item is from Los Angeles Engineering Incorporated. Los Angeles Engineering Incorporated's total bid amount is $3,136,000. 3,136,000. And that, thank you, Matthew. And that concludes the bid opening for this item.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. I'll move to accept the bids for item number 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of bid openings for this item, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell and Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and these bids are received, open, and declared forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving forward to item number 3, which is on consent. The Mayor and City Council have approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Director of the Office of Forest Management to execute the contract amendment with community partners for city plants to provide continued tree planting coordination services through December 2025. I'll move to approve item number 3. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Very well. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote on this item, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell and Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
And the consent item is approved unanimous.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 4, which is Council District 6 MOU for Cesar Chavez Recreation Complex Phase 3C.
Good morning, President Kang, Commissioners, welcome guests. My name is Marcelino Asensio with the Bureau of Engineering Architecture Division. The board report in front of you, BOE is recommending that the Board of Public Works find the General Services Department to be qualified to perform the construction services necessary to complete the Cesar Chavez Recreation Complex Phase 3C, also known as Sheldon Arleta Park Phase 3C, project for the amount of a not to exceed for $8,858,398. The second recommendation is to authorize a city engineer or a designee to execute the memorandum of understanding between Bureau of Engineering, Department of Rec and Parks, and GSD. And finally, authorize the city of engineer to make any technical corrections or clarifications to the actions above. The project is located in Council District 6, which is in the Sun Valley neighborhood of Los Angeles. It's a park that sits in between Sheldon Street, Arleta Avenue, Wick Street, and Sharp Avenue, which recently completed some construction on some street improvements around the park. The scope of work includes a baseball field, a children's play area, a prefabricated restroom/office/storage building, picnic area with a canopy, some landscaping and irrigation. On March 20th of 2025, the Board of Rec and Parks Commissioners approved signatory for the MOU. So now I'm coming to the board to request authority for the city engineer to sign that same MOU. GSD Construction Forces Division has provided construction services to many City of LA facilities. This is to help expedite the construction, and so BOE is recommending that GSD build and execute the project. The total project cost is roughly $7.7 million plus some contingency, hence the the not to exceed amount of $8.85 million. The MOU simply lays out the roles and responsibilities of each entity. So BOE will provide project management and construction management for the park. That includes payments, negotiations for change orders, completion of drawings and specs. Rec and Parks will respond to requests for information by GSD, and then of course GSD will establish the schedule, the construction schedule, and then build the project. The funding comes from Proposition K, Kids for All, Prop K, and then MICLA funding. With that, that concludes my presentation, and if there are any questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Cardenas.
Yes, thank you. I just want to remind, if I'm thinking of the right site, was this a former waste disposal site at this location?
Yes, that is correct. Good memory. And so it is not on the section which we are building right now. Yeah, so that's excluded. That is on part of the site. It's a larger site. We're building on the opposite side of that. But there is a study, an environmental study that kind of delineated where that ends and then where our project begins, because that would trigger additional environmental requirements if we were on top of that site.
And so is there plans in the future to build something on the former disposal site?
I don't know off the top of my head. I can certainly look into it. It's typically with availability of funding, so I'd have to get back to you on
Yes.
it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Chavez.
Yes, thank you. I noted that we are utilizing general services as opposed to contracting out because of the original bids came in too high. I'm just
Correct.
curious, what is the process? Like, do we ever do that as a matter of course to check in to see if general services can do projects, or is it only when bids come in too high? Like, what's the process for?
Yeah,
that
so
decision?
typically we do check in with GSD to see. Sometimes it's a variety of reasons. For instance, scope. It's a design build. That's typically an item that GSD doesn't do. So design build, they do design bid build, right? So they want a complete set of plans. So that might be a reason. Another reason is funding. Sometimes it's schedule and timing with the level of urgency or time that we do have to be able to go to a public bid. And like I mentioned, budget is also a big factor. So it schedule, scope, or budget. Sometimes it's one of those three reasons on why we may or may not go with GSD. But typically we do check in with GSD to see if they have availability and resources to implement a project.
And you do that before going out to bid, or just at the same
It's
time?
typically before, during the design development phase, right? So like as we're developing plans, and I'll make up a number, 60% drawings, it is typical that we will reach out and see what the path for bidding out. Will that be internal at City Forces, or do we go out to public bid? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Cardenas.
So in this case, it went after bid to go to GSD.
Yes. In this particular case, we went after bid. Rec and Parks is our client, so they wanted to go out to bid. We received bids out that were very high, and then that's why we elected to go with GSD. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? President Pro Tem Grant.
Do you recall what the original estimate was before we put it out to bid?
I do not have that information off the top of my head, but I can certainly follow up. I know it was substantially lower. I want to say, I'd have to look it up. I don't want to misspeak. I know it was substantially lower.
No, I'm just curious in terms of this, when we turn to general services to construct, if it was in the ballpark, why wouldn't they have been sought after? You know, they're available now at this rate. Wouldn't they have been available at that same price?
Yes, so we did have those discussions with GSD when they provided an initial estimate. It was a Class C estimate, so it was, it wasn't 100% complete with all the information. And as the information developed, as they revisited the project, their costs also went up as well. Yeah, so they initially, kind of ballparked it, and then as we asked for more detail to get into the nitty gritty of the specifications and the plans, their costs also escalated, but it was still a little bit cheaper than the contractors. Yeah.
But so that helps explain that part. The other thing is, it seems like our estimates were way off. I mean, even GSD, as well as all the bids, were much higher. Do we understand why that happened?
Sometimes it's cost escalation. Sometimes there's just a miss in our estimate. But it depends. I know recently with some other projects, cost escalations within the last 2 or 3 years have been pretty substantial. So we've been off by notable margins. Yeah. And so just on that note as well, this project's been in development since I think like 2021, 2022. So that includes COVID, that includes the recent fires. So there's some things that were not accounted for in the original estimates.
Thank you very much. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
Second?
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 4, starting with you, President Kang,
Aye.
Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas.
All right.
All ayes, and item 4 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving forward to item number 5 from the Bureau of Street Services for all council district, request for authority, Gobis and Company.
Good morning, President Kang and BP Chavez and Commissioner, Bureau Representative, and City Attorney. My name is Kenneth Tang. I'm the Senior Civil Engineer for Urban Transit Amenity Program and represent here today to request for your authorization to issue the task order solicitation for Gobis and Company LLC, contract numbers C145689 from DOT pre-qualified on-call professional consultant services list to provide BSS with the support for implementing the Urban Transit Amenity Program financial assessment and strategic planning with the budget of $650,000, including contingency. Just a quick background on the request here. So Street LA under the Urban Transit Amenity Program operate two separate transit amenity related. One is our bus bench program, the one you see with the advertisement on the back of the bench itself, and separately the more recent and sidewalk transit amenity, which is those bus shelter. Between those two, we are the goal is to have more than 3,450 structure relating to that for the staff shelter, and currently the bus bench program goal to have 6,000 bus bench for the entire city. And this is to support approximately 11,000 bus stop in the entire city. So part of this exercise is to understand better how we can more cohesively treat this bus up together as a more comprehensive amenity for these transit stop rather than two separate contracts. So toward that end, this task is asking to look at the financial situation for both of these programs and then develop a long-term strategy, whether there's additional investment to bring in certain amenity throughout the entire city, expand more bus bench or other shelter throughout the entire city. And as you're aware, our staff program does need additional capital to continue and become sustainable for the program. With that said, the third item or the scope that delivery for this also to pursue new funding opportunity for the program. And finally, support the potential request for proposal for the bus bench program, which is due to expire in December of 2026. So we have a bit of time, but again, the staff shelter RFP took several years. So we want to get a head start on this exercise. So with that, I do want to give a few information about the procurement process itself. We did put this out and we only received one proposal, especially even after we extended the timeline to see if there's other interest in coming in and propose on the task. Unfortunately, it did not, and it does make sense because there are few outdoor advertisement expertise that can perform these functions. So after reviewing the proposal and with the panelists, and we agree that the Gobis and Company is the best and most qualified to perform this work. And this is why we're here today to request your authority to proceed and award. With that, I'll pause here and answer any question you may have about the item.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Vice President Chavez.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chang. I missed the part where you talked about the reason we're using the LADOT professional services on call list is for this specific type of consultant. Did you say that there are folks that specialize in this kind of program? Are there consultants on that list that meet that criteria, or we don't know yet? Because it's very a narrow area of specialty.
Right. So this particular bench that we tap into from DOT is specialized in grant writing and request for proposal. And out of that entire list of 20 to 30 plus firm under that list, this is the only one that had experience relating to outdoor advertisement and the price of advertisement phase for this type of amenity. So it initially we chose it because of the RFP and the grant writing component, and then after that, as we see the expertise that come in, it makes sense that these are the only one that responded.
So is our goal to try to go after additional grant funding for this program? Or is our goal to maximize advertising revenue?
Both.
Both. All the above.
All the above.
Okay.
And I do want to mention a special thing that we've been working really hard to pursue right now is ability to license our shelter for other city to use our design so that we can potentially bring in some royalty from those designs from other cities to help continue to fund our program. Again, this is an initiative that we're working towards since a lot of interest by the various city.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I know this is a very, I'm very much in support of this and look forward to seeing the results.
Thank you.
With that, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Very well. Thank you, President Kang. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 5, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and item 5 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving forward to item number 6 for all council district, request to authorize wayfinding and transit amenities project.
Thank you. Good morning again. Kenneth Tang, Senior Civil Engineer. Along with me here is Diana G, Landscape Architect Associate. She'll be the project manager for this, and she'll be presenting the item before you today, and will be available to answer any question you may have.
Thank you. Good morning, President Kang and Commissioners. I'm here to request that the board authorize Streets LA to utilize the STAP contract with Transito Vector to deliver project elements as a part of the wayfinding and transit amenities in downtown LA project with Metro. And this project will authorize Streets LA to engage with the Los Angeles Neighborhood Initiative, or LANI, for public outreach services related to this project, as approved in the Metro Express Lanes grant funding agreement. For quick background on the STAP contract, it was approved by the board in 2022 and awarded Transito Vector the authorization to develop, manufacture, manage, and operate all the STAP elements that include the program elements within the scope of this project grant. There are, within that scope and on the map that you see before you, 20 bus transit shelters, 20 urban panels, and 7 gateway locations. The total funding for this wayfinding and transit amenities project shall not exceed $8.5 million, with grant funding for the project rounding out in the amount of $8.4 million, while the local match portion is about $85,000. Within that, the $8.2 million that's allocated will cover the STAP contractor expenses for project elements and expenditures as outlined in the funding agreement. And the remaining 200,000 will be dedicated to public outreach efforts carried out by Lonnie. There will be also a 1% local match portion of $85,000 that will be fulfilled using staff salary funds. For the project schedule and timeline, the allotted time after authorization is 28 months, which lands us around the beginning of 2028. However, we plan to complete the project sooner, if possible, in advance of the Olympics to complement the city's transit efforts in getting people around during the games. The public outreach portion that would be conducted by Lonnie will last about 4 months, and then construction will be executed within 9 months within completion of the design. We're both available, as Ken mentioned, for questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Vice President Chavez.
Yes, thank you. Can you give me a little bit more detail on the public outreach? What will that look like? Who are the stakeholders that are involved, or will there be some kind of ongoing stakeholder meetings, that kind of thing?
That's great questions. So part of the initial development of the grant itself, we did establish a list of bid that would be engaged again to see how we can modify our staff element to meet the gateway component, and whether they wanted to customize some of our shelter to meet their community value and visual. In addition to that, we are anticipate as part of the Lonnie participation is to develop a technical advisory team and the community advisory team for ongoing coordination for the project itself. Even after the 4-month initial engagement is done, we plan on our side to continue to communicate the timeline of the project, the construction and schedule, and all the impact to the community throughout the entire implementations. And as you know, there's other projects right around the same area that need just similar kind of coordination effort.
And what's the timeline for the shelters for this program, for the downtown ones?
So the shelter I anticipate to roll out first, because they are something that already have the structure design already, and the process already figured out. As soon as we receive your authorization, we anticipate to begin the site-specific design and plan to install within the 12 months of the authorizations, at least the very first one, because we do not need additional approval step beside what we already established for the staff program.
Okay, so these are already included in that dashboard that we have to just expedite the ones that we already have, the cement, we already have the permits, we have the electrical, we have all of the everything lined up. So these are all queued up to be expedited.
That's correct.
Okay,
it's just a new funding source to inject into it.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
So thank you. In terms of the locations, were these selected in a more strategic fashion related to upcoming world events?
So this was developed in consultation with CD14 and the various bid within that area. These location was discussed, but as we go through the community engagement process, specific location can be revisited or doing the community engagement component. But that was what was developed during that initial grant development engagement.
Okay. All right. Commissioner Cardenas.
Yes, thank you. Is it possible to get the same drawing but overlaid with the existing shelters and monuments that are already existing in this area, just to see where we're filling in and what's missing or what isn't missing?
We can provide that as follow-up to show where is existing elements and how this bringing the upgrade to these locations.
I'd appreciate that. Just want to see what, because this just tells us what's new, but curious to see what's already existing.
That's also, if you like, we also can provide some of the other location within that area, part of other projects that was engaged for us to install shelter as well.
Yeah, any information is good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you only interested in this particular area downtown?
Well, this project in particular, yeah. You can send it to Mr. Knight.
Will do.
President Pro Tem Grant.
That's correct.
I'm sorry, I thought it was on. The agenda listed as all districts, but really it's CD14.
That's correct. It's encompass City 14.
Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So, second?
First by Vice President Chavez, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 6, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and this item is approved unanimous.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 7.
Thank you.
For all council district labor agreement.
Alrighty. Good morning. My name is Ian Monte, representing the Bureau of Contract Administration's Office of Contract Compliance. And I'm here before the board this morning to recommend that the board add the Department of Public Works project labor agreement to the attached list of 157 upcoming projects. So I want to just give a small background because we're actually doing something historic. And I just want to shine a light on that a little bit. In August of 2021, the existing Department of Public Works project labor agreement, otherwise known as the PLA, was executed. And within that PLA, one was a project list that I'll talk about in a second, but this was a 10-year agreement. The previous PLAs, both of them had been each 5-year agreements. That'll be important in a second, and I just want to just highlight that. When we did this 10-year agreement, one of the things that we do is we establish a project list while we're going through the development and the negotiation of that PLA. And we work with the Bureau of Engineering to do a forecast of anticipated projects that the PLA would cover. Because this was a 10-year agreement, when we did the forecast only went until the end of 2024 and the beginning of this year. So we have another 5+ years of this PLA being active, but we didn't have a forecast of projects. Because that was anticipated back in 2020 and 2021, Article 2.2 of the PLA allows us to do a one-time revision of that initial project list with a forecast revision, which is the 157 projects you see here. This was a list that we worked with the Bureau of Engineering to identify, and ultimately we saw these 157 projects as needing the Public Works PLA. Thus, we put this board report, and we are here to you in front of you today to add these projects. The projects collectively have a construction value of $2.359 billion, and they're anticipated to be advertised at some point between later this month and January of 2030. So again, we now have that second half of the project list. Additionally, there are 5 projects that have potential advertisement dates beyond January of 2030, but they could be advertised sooner, so we just included them as well. We always discuss the benefits of adding the PLA to a project, so why not talk about the benefits of adding the PLA to 157 of them at one time? And so there are numerous benefits. One of those is that the quality work is done with properly on time without costly correction, and the PLA will help ensure that. It also is going to provide an access to a skilled and trained workforce, so that work that was just mentioned is done properly the first time. It also has language within the PLA that prevents strikes, stoppages, and lockouts, so the projects will keep moving forward regardless of any type of administrative occurrence. From an economic benefit perspective, which is always the coolest part of this to me, this addition of the 157 projects based on math where we see that 13 jobs are created for every $1 million of construction costs. These 157 projects could potentially generate over 30,000 jobs. And that's going to include local residents of this city, including apprentices and those that are considered to be transitional workers, because there will be job opportunities for them because the PLA requires a certain percentage of the work hours to be done by local residents. So for all of these reasons mentioned, the Bureau of Contract Administration and the Bureau of Engineering collectively recommend that the PLA be added to these 157 projects, and I am here for your questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? No, I think many of us are in support. Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So move.
Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Very well. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 7, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and item 7 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 8, sole source contract for CoStar Realty Information.
Thank you, President Kang. Commissioners, city representatives, guests, good morning. My name is Janelle Pata, Property Manager for Bureau of Engineering Real Estate Division. And I'm here requesting approval to execute a sole source contract with CoStar Realty Information, Inc., also known as CoStar. This is a 3-year contract with a total budget authority of approximately $175,000. The CoStar subscription provides our team with critical data necessary to complete reliable and accurate appraisals for various infrastructure projects. And these include national real estate listings, nationwide real estate listings, verified sales comparables for industrial and commercial properties, economic and demographic data, and contract information for property owners and sellers. This information is essential for our due diligence process and acquisition of properties. We have also determined that this is a sole source contract due to the specialized nature of the data provided. A task order solicitation was posted on the Los Angeles Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement website on October 26, 2023, and we received no proposals. The Personnel Department has also determined that no city classification can have the expertise to perform this work. The contract has been reviewed and approved by the City Attorney's Office and also our risk manager. A business inclusion program waiver has been approved by the Office of the Mayor's Office and concurred by the Bureau of Contract Administration. Funding for this first-year contract in the amount of $55,000 is available in the Sewer Capital Fund for fiscal year 2025-2026, and subsequent years funding information will come from Fund 100, Department 78, Account 3040, and Fund 761, Department 50, Appropriation Unit Number 50CX78 at a 50% split. The Bureau of Engineering respectfully requests the board's approval to enter into this contract with CoStar, authorizing our city engineer or his designee to execute the agreement and draw the necessary funds to begin this critical contract. I wanted to also note that I have with me 8 copies of the contract. Basically, this is a little bit slightly different from transmittal number 3 of the board report. The beginning of the contract has been modified to start on October 1st of this year. Also, on page 2, the escalation schedule will start in October because we're beginning this contract in October, and also the clause regarding auto renewal was also deleted or removed. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about this item number 8.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? One quick question from me is, given that there was no other bids, is this sort of a competitive pricing for the 3 years in terms of these types of services?
In terms, I can't really answer that question because all I know is that this company is the only basically company that provides the type of service. Other city departments, such as the General Services Department, Los Angeles World Airports, the Harbor Department, share the same pricing that our bureau will enter into. Whether or not it's competitive is beyond really my expertise.
Okay, but good to hear that we do have some information from some of our other departments within the city.
Yes, Commissioner.
All right, seeing no other comments or questions, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well, thank you, President Kang. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 8, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and item 8 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving forward to our motions for item number 9, our AFE Black Knight Financial Services.
Good morning, Board. My name is Lindsay Naish. I'm a senior civil engineer at the Bureau of Engineering, GIS, and Mapping Division. The authority for expenditure before you is a request to pay Black Knight Financial Services in the amount of $81,044.52 for data services for fiscal year 2025 to 2026. This is a 3% increase from last year's fees, which we find to be reasonable. The vendor invoices us monthly in the amount of $6,753.71. Black Knight provides our staff with weekly deed archive records. Before receiving their services, we would send our staff to LA County Records to gather this information. Then we would process it digitally. The services rendered by Black Knight save us this effort as they process the data, review it, and create a digital inventory. These records are processed and uploaded into the BOE Land Use Planning and Management System database, and a custom web application is used to view and edit this data. Other departments then have access to this database through this web application, and staff can update the city's land records, upload information into BOE's property ownership database, and information is available in Navigate LA for staff to access. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Commissioner Cardenas.
Yes, thank you for that. How long have we been using Black Knight for these services?
They've changed their name. They were previously known as Title Point. We've been using them since 2015 for these services. Before that, our staff would go to LA County, so we found this to be a big savings for the city.
So about 10 years.
Yes.
And satisfactory work?
Yes, we're very satisfied with it.
So how much time is it saving BOE's staff from having to go down there and do this manually?
Our GIS chief expects it would be about 2 to 3 full-time staff to do all this work. So this is quite a savings for us.
Yeah,
Thanks for asking.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Very well, we will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 9, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, item 9 is approved and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm staying for item 10.
All right, moving on to item 10 for all council district technical correction to appropriation number Build LA project.
Yes, good morning again, Board. Lindsay Naish still, Bureau of Engineering, GIS, and Mapping Division. On June 13th, 2025, your board approved the most recent revision to task order solicitation number 12 for the Build LA project, which added the annual council-approved funding to the task. The funding table provided on that adopted board report incorrectly named an account that was newly established due to that council action. The motion before you is to correct the account's appropriation unit number, originally listed as 50 AVMC to 50 AVMI. That is all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
So
All right.
just to be clear, it's a typo error that we're rectifying.
Yes.
All right.
Like a
That's what I
human
thought.
error? Like a human error, right? All right. Seeing no other discussion, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 10, starting with you, President Kang,
Aye.
Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes. Item 10 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Moving on to our final item, number 11, Sidewalk and Transit Amenities Program from the Bureau of Street Services. Welcome back, Mr. Tang.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Again, Kenneth Tang, Senior Civil for the Urban Transit Amenity Program, Bureau of Street Services. Again, thank you for your patience as we transition from the previous contract administrator, Lando Wishy, to myself taking the lead in the program. And really appreciate your continued support for the program. And as we shift direction, I also wanted to shift the way we report our progress for the program as well, and just focus on a few essential metric that give you a pulse about the for the staff program itself. So for today, I'll go over some of the report for last fiscal year, some of the essential one metric, and then I'll go into what are we anticipating focus for this this fiscal years. To start, in the previous fiscal year, we did install 176 elements, 175 of which is transit shelter, and one is urban panel. As it stands today, we have 207 elements is in the ground, 192 is transit shelter, and 15 is urban panel. Part of our program as we go in, we also upgrade sidewalk. In last fiscal year, we upgraded 173 sites. That's equivalent to about 60,000 square feet of sidewalk upgrade for entire city. The advertisement revenue last year was $21.5 million was generated, and 13.05 of which was the city share, which is 60.5% of the total revenue for the advertisement. And thank you, President Kang and VP Chavez, for joining us for the celebration of the 150th shelter in Koreatown. And that was some of the highlight. I do want to also mention some of the success during the budget process. In doing the budget process, we successfully request and able to continue 11 of the position within Street LA, a lot of which is layoff preventions. Similarly, for we also able to submit and receive 12 position in BSL for supporting our plan review for the electrical component and dedicated maintenance crew for our staff electrical. These are pretty essential because these are safety issue at stop if we don't have a light up at night at these locations. So we were able to receive a dedicated crew for this, and also 4 position from BCA to support our program in the implementation stage. This new year, our goal is to reach 300 new elements, and that consists of approximately 250 shelter and 50 urban panel. And this is the highest goal we have shoot for. And with the support of the board and other department, we establish a more optimized process in rolling out these shelter. And so that's why we want to continue to push the boundary to get these out there as fast as we can for the benefit of the community and the revenue generating purpose. This year, once again, I want to just express our focus. One is, again, to continue to expedite the implementation. Toward that end, we are going to tap into our in-house construction crew to help us build out more sidewalk. That way, it's not just contractor going out there doing these construction work, and it allow us to expedite and shoot for a higher goal for the year. In addition, on the other side, we want to focus on building community partnership and partnership with other agency to help grow the program as a whole, but also obtain more funding. An example of that is our experience with Metro. We have been working with Metro to see if we would be able to incorporate our transit shelter as a design in the bus rapid transit for the entire city. So anywhere that is have the BRT in the future, they would utilize staff shelter, meaning that they would be funding the city to build out more shelter with us being the maintenance entity and advertising, and so they would technically help us fund and grow the program. So that's one initiative that we are likely to come back to the board again to actuate that agreement, right? And look like we are going that direction as well for current and future BRT. We also continue to work with different community events like Ciclavia, the town hall that's coming up tomorrow. And so staff program is continue to be part of community and hear what is the resident really need, and any potential maintenance or any requests that come our way, we are responsive to those as well. Also in the coming month, we'll be coming back to the board for the year 4 approval list as part of our annual sort of submittal for candidate on potential site for future transit shelter pool. With that, looking forward to your leadership as a program move forward. I'm here to answer any question you may have about the staff program as a whole.
Thank you for the update. Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Cardenas.
Yeah, just one question. I don't know if you covered it in a, hopefully I didn't miss it. The revenue is it going back to Bureau of Street Services, or is it going to the general fund? Where does the revenue go to?
So the way we had structured this program is all the revenue for the advertisement go into a fund called Raise LA. It's an acronym for a longer a fun name, but with that, first $3 to $4 million actually did distributed to all 15 council districts. The second tier of cut is going back to loan repayment to the Board of Public Works once the payments start, and then we'll go into staffing and finally into the capital investment into the back into the program.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you for your report. We discussed this before, but I want you could help refresh my memory. And it's been raised before, the seating at some of these, there's been questions about the seating at these stops in terms of those who are partially disabled and the way that's configured. Has there been a re-examination of the seating at these stops or not?
So the way we designed our seating configuration, the cube, was very intentional. It can be highly configurable for various needs. It can adjust in height, adjust in the back panel, and even adjust in the lean bar on either side for ADA needs. So the way we had designed it was very intentional to accommodate various needs. With the initial rollout, we are putting sort of standard configuration for all location until we receive requests for a specific location that needs adjustment to meet a certain need, but it's designed to accommodate.
So you were actually waiting for requests for accommodation at specific sites, and then at that point you'll change the seating accommodation? Is that what I'm understanding?
That's correct, because at this point we are getting as many as generic standard seating as we can out there.
Right.
Depending on location specific that have a specific need, right? We don't really know that specific need until it's communicated to us, And in the recent one that we received, we did go back out and adjust, take out the back panel and included some of the 2-inch raise to allow people to get on and off the seating a little bit easier. So once we receive it, we pretty quickly go out there and adjust it. But
And-
we can't really anticipate what is the need until we receive a certain request.
How has the public been informed that where they are to make those suggestions or requests?
So part of our engagement here, like as mentioned, doing the our townhouse, Ciclavia, and all these neighborhood council events, is communicated to them that if there's any adjustment or any comment about our program, including a request for additional or modifying existing furniture, they can come to our website that have a form that intake these adjustments. They can also contact us directly via the staff email to request that, and the 3-in-1 also intake those requests. So we have a myriad of a way to submit the request, and we continue to go attend the various community events to communicate that ability.
Has there been consideration about posting at this specific site the availability or possibility that people can make suggestions about changing the seating? So in other words, if I'm a public who doesn't go to a town hall meeting or any of these events, but I'm either reclusive or don't go out as much, I would know that I can make a suggestion to improve. It seems pretty static to me, but if I go to the site and see that in fact there's an opportunity to make a suggestion, it seems to me that it provide for a broader set of people to be able to improve the seating.
Yeah, understood. We do have a form on online for that suggestion. We can provide sort of more direct detail on what type of adjustment that can be requested onto the form and the website itself, so it's more clearly spell out the different kind of configuration that can be requested.
Vice President Chavez.
I just have a suggestion that I just thought of, given Tem Grant's concern about getting it out to the public. Have you considered on the shelters that have digital on them, they have rotating displays, maybe put a display that's a public service announcement that says, if you want to give us feedback, do you have that, something like that available with a QR code that people can scan and give feedback, do surveys? It would be a way to capture the audience, if you will, that's using it.
Great suggestions. PSA is something that we provide as part of shelter advertisement opportunity. Yes, I think we will definitely take that into heart and work that into the PSA for improvement for the staff program. But with that said, in terms of survey, we do work with various operational agency like Metro to also look at their survey and the suggestion for the improvement, and we take that to heart for our improvement as well. And in addition, we also work hand in hand with Metro Stop and Zone to basically look at any sort of customer experience that they had shown to us too, and we also address those as well. But yeah, we definitely can take that note and develop a strategy for PSA for additional communication for that kind of enhancement.
And then my other question has to do with I know you mentioned the year 4 approval list, and when is that coming before us? Is that scheduled to come?
So we anticipate in the next 2 to 4 months. The reason being is there are legal thing that's happening that need to be resolved before we sort of initiate the new list. Once that resolved, it gives us a framework on how we engage, how enhancement to the way we communicate the list are be solidified. So we anticipate in the next 2 to 4 months that will be come before you.
Okay. And then you mentioned the, so what is the status on the time frame for all the settlements? Is that expected to wrap up soon?
I don't know how much I can talk about.
Well, I'm just asking time.
Yeah, so in terms of timing, we did present to committee last week and anticipate that the entire closure for both legal cases to come to an end in the next few weeks.
Okay. And what is the most updated goal for installing shelters? I know this is your favorite question. What's our benchmark goal, for completing the program? Like, how many are we expected to have by 2028 for the Olympics? And then what's the total goal for the program?
So the goal for the program is still at 3,450 structure for that includes shelter and shade structure, which is shade structure is the one that doesn't have advertisement on it. It's a narrow sidewalk. So that's still the goal for the program. In addition to that, the other component like urban panel, e-locker, scooter docks, also still part of the program long-term goal. But with that said, because of the slowdown at the beginning of the rollout and the rate that we're going right now, we did have to adjust when the eventual build out can happen. I don't think I can commit and say it here that where we would get that to all 3,500, 450s done, but we anticipate between a 5 to 10 year range from today.
Okay.
And again, this also tie a lot to the budget. We need that capital investment to actually make this happen. And again, we do have a deficit of about $200 million to actually realize a 3,450 shade structure and shelter.
Yes, there's so many challenges to this program. Obviously, the funding is a big part of it, which is why it's so important that we prioritize the locations that are going to generate revenue that we can reinvest and finish the program and put them in all the places that we want to put them to. But if we don't have the funding, we can't put them in all the neighborhoods and in the communities that we want to put them in. So appreciate you giving us continuous status updates on just how we're doing with revenue and program implementation and any challenges that you're dealing with. You can keep us posted on those as well.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for everybody's awareness, I did flag to the staff team regarding some issues related to just maintenance. And I just wanted, Mr. Ting, if you could let everybody know that there is an audit in process to ensure that our Transito is following through on their commitment to the city.
Yeah. So thank you for flagging some of the things you see out there regarding the maintenance issue, whether broken glass or debris around a bus stop. Again, our commitment and the contract commitment is to maintain a certain level of service that guaranteed by the contract. That's include weekly preventative structural inspection and maintenance, and weekly on-site visual inspection and removal of graffiti. So all these minimal expectation we are reviewing with the contractor to make sure those are performed and meet the level of service that we expect. And once we determine that result, we will strategize on how to increase that level of maintenance. But I do wanted to point out that there was an increase of graffiti and other activity during the protest that required them to still go back and address in even in the recent days here. So we are looking at that maintenance issue, but we also want to flag that there are an increase of demand.
Okay. And please keep us posted once that has been concluded. And in the future, if I can suggest or make a recommendation for your oral report, if you can provide either a visual presentation or like a quick one-pager with some major kind of update in bullet format, that would be appreciated and provided to the board in advance of your visit to the board.
Great, will do.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Knight, does that conclude our items for today?
Yes, it does, President King.
All right. Our next meeting will be on Friday, September 19th, 2025, and it will be held at the Van Nuys City Hall. And the meeting is now adjourned at 11:26 a.m.